Hi, my name is Barabbas, and this is my story. Most of you probably know me. Um, done some pretty bad things in my life. Some of you all were there with me on that day. Um, I was tired of Rome being in charge of me, and so I rebelled. I don't know if I had plans of killing those people that day, but I did. And I'm going to be honest, it didn't bother me. And some of you were there with me when we wanted to try to get Rome to stop treating us the way that they were treating us. But instead of listening to us, they grabbed a few of us, rightfully so, and threw us in jail. Fast forward to 3 days ago. Leading up to 3 days ago, I knew, because I'd heard some of the guards talking about all the Jews coming into town for the Passover. I knew that it was Pilate's tradition to appease the Jews, to let a prisoner go. I knew it wasn't going to be me. Because I knew what the guards had been talking about in whispers and in hushed tones, that there was going to be a crucifixion. And I knew that that was for me. So 3 days ago, I'm sitting in the jail cell, and I hear the crowds outside, just in a whisper, is all I can hear, but I hear them yelling, "Barabbas! Barabbas!" And I knew that the guards were coming for me. So when they opened up the cell door and led me out, I knew I wasn't going to be free that day. And then instead of heading up the hill to Golgotha, they took me to Pilate. And there was a man standing next to me, if you can even call him a man at that point. He had been beaten. He was incredibly bloodied. Um, didn't look like he had slept at all. He had this crown of thorns shoved into his head. He had this robe on that I would have said would have been reserved for royalty, but he looked nothing like a king. And then I heard Pilate say that that man was innocent. But then he asked, who who should I set free? This innocent man or me? And I heard the crowd shout Barabbas again. And I can't explain to you the feeling inside of me knowing that knowing what I'd done and knowing I was guilty, and yet hearing that an innocent man was getting ready to be crucified. But I wasn't one to ask questions in that moment. I was so excited to have that freedom. And when the guards took my chains off, I hightailed it out of there. And I got out of the city. And I just sat on a hill. And I just started thinking. Kind of milled around town on Saturday. It was kind of a somber mood. Didn't really know what was going on. Some people were really excited. Some people were really down. And then earlier today, I came back into town with some thoughts, some schemes, because I knew Pilate was in town and that I could probably get back to him. Request maybe a meeting to say thank you. And as I made my way to his palace, I heard this talk of that innocent man had been crucified in my place. And I thought, why? Why would an innocent man die for me? He didn't deserve that death. I did. So I kept walking. As I got closer, I heard more people talking about that same man. How they had heard that he was alive. You see, dead people don't just come back to life. And innocent people don't die for guilty people. But that man did. You know, I really don't know what to think. But you know what?